We're launching the iGaming SEO Boardroom, a consulting group and community built by two of the leading names in the space, and over a decade of experience working with some of the biggest brands in the industry. I'm Sean, founder of Game Changer. We've been leaders in the SEO space for over 7 years. And I'm joined by Ivana Flynn, a prominent SEO expert known for sharing SEO insights with over 10 years experience ranking sites in iGaming SEO. If you know this space, you know how fast things move. Black hat tactics, negative attacks, Reddit updates, AI, it changes constantly and most teams are always a step behind. That's exactly why we are launching the Boardroom. Weekly insights, training, updates and access to us. So you and your team always have a game plan before things happen and not after. We've already sold out our founding members and have now just opened the waitlist for early access. Click the link in the description to join the Boardroom. We'll see you inside.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our channel where we talk a lot about SEO and lately AI. And today I have Michal with me. I'm sure you know him. I mean, come on, if you are not living under the rock, you know who he is. He's in podcasts, he's in conferences, he's a huge name in SEO industry. Not even iGaming, but SEO. But we're using his tool in iGaming as well, right? SEO Surfer, everybody knows it. Every company I ever work with has it for their content. And I saw a best presentation by him last year about how content works and how his tool can help. But today we are sadly not talking about that. We are talking about do's and don'ts of AI search. It's definitely going to be coming from the data from his tool. So please listen, please stay with us. Michal, welcome.
Thank you for having me. It's a big pleasure for me to be here and being able to share some of the data points we extracted. Like you said, everything is based on data in these presentations, in these researches. And like I don't have my own theories. Everything is basically a conclusion of the data. So
But
happy to
data
be
is
here.
what makes us or breaks us. Like if you are in SEO, you cannot just guess. I love when people say, I have got a gut feeling. I'm like, yeah, me too, about many things, but not about SEO. About SEO, I like facts. So I like to go into facts. That's why I like your work and your presentations. And it's always full of useful things. And you always share at least one thing that everybody can implement tomorrow.
Oh my
So
God.
the
Thank you.
basics of do's and don'ts of AI search. How would you
Yeah.
start about this topic? It's so huge. So I let you start and I might have questions,
I
but I'll
had
let you.
slightly different like idea of opening it, but you said something really critical. Like everything in SEO should be based on data, and I think I will start from the end. It's like because right now we have AI search. Obviously, is taking a cut of our traffic, is taking a cut of everything that is going on. People basically migrated. Some people migrated, but the key point is where are we now? Because with SEO, it's easy. This is our traffic. These are our positions. This is our market share. These are our backlinks. This is our backlink gap, right? So we know that we have a budget gap, we have a backlink gap, we have a content gap, this gap, that gap, and you have a plan. So for the technical, you fix these technicals that shows up in audit. For content, you create a topical map, you see where you are against the competition, so you fill that gap with either AI content, human written content, doesn't matter. What matters is that with classic with SEO, basically we have a plan because we know the baseline, we know who is our competitor. Precisely. We know what they do. We have a Ahrefs, we have SEMrush, we check their backlinks, we see where they put their money. Sometimes they hide PBNs, but we can kind of reverse engineer it. You name it. There is a plan. And with this slightly too long opening, I just wanted to point out that for AI search, we don't have it. I mean, 99% of the businesses, they do not measure their situation in AI search. Like many people will say, like, oh, there are these synthetic prompts. What's the point of monitoring something that no one is actually searching in ChatGPT whatsoever? There are so many misconceptions in the area that many people neglect necessity of setting up the baseline, because quite often it happens that we have a different competition in AI engines than we have in Google search. That we have different sources that make people choose products that influence Google versus those that influence AI. And without measuring this baseline, we are screwed. Like, money is going to burn like crazy just because we don't know the direction. With SEO, is easy. We've got these keywords, we see the traffic, so we do everything. What is everything? We see how many backlinks point to this particular page of competitors. Top 1, top 2, top 3, we see, okay, they have a lot of direct backlinks from high authority, whatever. So I need $10,000 to match the gap. It's easy plan. But when you see another brand in ChatGPT, you have no idea why is it there. And this is the biggest problem, the biggest misconception, even for surfer customers, for people who are paying for the product. And everyone is allowed to start tracking AI visibility inside the application. Like 20% turn on this product to see what's going on. And if they have access, availability of it, yet still don't use it, I feel like among people who do not have access, who would think to even start doing AI visibility monitoring in order to know the competition, in order to know where to build backlinks, because building mentions is just like building backlinks, but we are not chasing this do follow or like no follow actually attribute, to be precise. So that's the biggest do's and don'ts. So that's the biggest do, is to start measuring where you are right now. And I know people don't do it, which is frightening. Like creating content that is never getting cited because AI prefers something different. Building backlinks on pages just for sake of DR boost, instead of building contextually relevant opinions about your brand in places that are getting cited today. So this is frightening, and this is I'm on a mission. Let's say I'm on a mission to change that, because I want, like, everything we did in Surfer for SEO industry in general was to help people achieve better results, and making it a big company or small company, like, to me it's enormous. I live in a countryside of Poland, so for me it's like a huge ass business, but it was a byproduct. All in all, we just wanted to make sure that everybody is using their potential to the fullest, so not wasting time on things that can be automated and not delivering results because of that. And right now I'm on a mission to, I think, help people is the same thing, reverse engineering. So before we were reverse engineering SERPs in order to extract entities, content structure, topics they talk about, so we can optimize our content accordingly. And now it's the same situation, so we are trying to reverse engineer, but slightly different search engine, which is AI search is slightly different search engine. Obviously, it does a lot of grounding on a web using Bing, Brave, Google, whatever, but it values different elements. And let's maybe move to this topic. What do they value, so we can actually prepare our pages better for the AI visibility? And then after these couple of elements I explain, we will move to these don'ts, like how not to get fooled by the industry, because industry of AI search is inflated like crazy. I think it's bigger than SEO itself. When I look at the companies that are evaluated like unicorns and well, producing very little value, right?
Very
So
true.
there's
And as well, there is
yeah.
the trap of I am a geo AI expert of 20 years, even though it started 2 years ago, and overselling bullshit. So I'm very happy you're talking about this. It's important. But yes, as you said, in SEO, we know where we stand because we can measure it. But here is the question. We have so many tools for SEO, as you name them, and one of them being your tool that everybody, I think, in our industry is using. So they know exactly like my content is this, competitor is doing this tool is suggesting I fix my H1s, create bigger content. Very helpful. We all use it. We all are scoring better because of it. So thank you for building it.
Yeah,
Anyway, how
happy
do you
to help.
start with AI? Because it's all over the place. For
Yeah, it's
SEO, we just really cared for Google. Now you have got so many places. This is being pushed, this is being pushed. Some people prefer ChatGPT, some people prefer this, some people prefer that, some are really concentrating on AI overviews. So many places to monitor. Not really a tool to go to. Like there is
in
little bit
general.
of this here, little bit
Mhm.
of that. So how do you go about it? How do you
uh,
start?
we started to analyze because okay, so these surfer customers who actually are monitoring their AI visibility, we do a lot of checks for them, and this amount is doubling every month now. So when I was presenting it in Vilnius in March, that was like 6-7 million at the time, and now is like almost 20 million scrapes in the database. And these scrapes, what do they help us with is they help us to differentiate winners from losers. So imagine we are following, let's say, for 90 days, all of these prompts. And we see some pages that are getting cited 90 days straight, like clear winners, undisputable champion of the prompt WBC lightweight. You get it, right? So, like, the best. And we got these sometimes a little bit hallucinated, sometimes a little bit lost pages that are only cited once, twice in 3 months, and everything in between. Everything in between as well. So there is a clear ladder board of winning pages, mediocre pages, and losing pages. And if we look at the characteristics of the winners and look at the characteristics of the losers, we can actually draw conclusions based on that. Like, what makes these guys being cited every day? And obviously, correlation is not causation, and it's not like it will work with every single industry, with every single prompt, every single situation. But when you have a sample that is big enough, and it's really the similar situation that we have on the presentation last year. That's like, if your sample is big enough, it allows you to draw conclusions that will be accurate most of the times. And there are some specific elements that characterize these winning pages. And what are they? So let's bring them to the table. So we used to optimize for the crawl budget always, right? So the JavaScript heavy pages, tough interlinking, basically huge structure and so on. So we've been trying to make it easier for Google to crawl, and that was giving us an edge over competitors if our website was easier to crawl, easier to digest. And right now, when we have AI search, and AI is basically sending, I don't know, we can call them agents, whatever. We can call them whatever we want. So AI receives a question from the user, and then it goes to a place like, for Claude, it's Brave. It can be Bing. It can be Google for Google's like AI overview, AI mode, and so on. Like Gemini. It goes to a search engine, and is doing grounding work. So it tries to figure out what's the information. So should I be using only my training data, or I need to support myself with some extra documents? And in most cases, it decides, especially on the real user interface, it almost always, or always, according to my sample, triggers a web search. And if it's sending these agents, say, goes to the search 100 top 100 results. So it starts to read them. I don't know if it's reading 100, maybe it's reading a 50, maybe it's reading 20. But the thing is, it starts reading simultaneously all of those. And if it can quickly find an answer, why wasting tokens on reading all the way down all of these pages? So it's basically a token economy. That's a quote from Robert Niechciał, I've heard in Zakopane. He said, we are living in a token economy, and I totally agree with him here, because when these agents are sent and they are reading, every word they read is basically money, is money lost, because if there is no information provided in exchange for reading this piece of content, well, they are losing money. It's all about retrieving information to support them with giving the answer to the user. I know it's a little bit could be a little bit complex, but it all boils down to the crawl budget for tokens. So it's basically, if you can quickly provide information that is easy to retrieve for the AI engine, and it's quickly on top of the page, it turns out that you win this race. It's basically a race. And if it has these candidates like track number 3, track number 7, track number 9, boom, these 3 will be our sources because we've got the information already. We don't spend tokens on the others. And this is one of the reasons we may have not identical order in citations compared to ranking in the traditional search engine. Some of the some of the pages content is easy to digest for AI, and some is full of anecdotes. If I will be explaining only with dry facts today, nobody's gonna listen. I need positive behavioral signals. We need a joke, we need a smile, we need an anecdote. But if I was creating this presentation for AI, I would make sure I give answer after answer after answer, from general to specific, progressing without a single word that is a token wasted. And this is the main principle that differentiates optimization for AI search from optimization for Google search or for people search. Because what Google has that AI doesn't is behavioral signals. You see the CTR manipulation, for example, works like a charm.
Yeah, huge in our industry.
Yeah, it's fake people, right? It's fake people that will either read content, stay on the page, perform pogo sticking on competitors, then go back to you again, stay forever, blah, blah, blah. And with real traffic is the same. Google can evaluate the quality of the page by basically looking at the behavioral data and saying like, all right, they must have liked it. There are some algorithms they will pull that will allow them to decide whether this page is satisfying the need of the searcher or not. And if it does, then it gets a boost. If it doesn't, it's basically going down. Then you build a few more backlinks, it's going up again, and then getting down because, again, you didn't change your content. So it's still kind of not satisfying. And with AI, they don't have it. They only have one thing. They have the information that they've spent 700 tokens to extract answer to a question, what's the water boiling temperature? And if someone can provide this answer within 300 tokens, they say, be my guest. Because that's the only thing that they can evaluate, really. This is why these EEAT signals, for example, EEAT signals for ChatGPT, we've been analyzing it like crazy, and it turned out to be one of the least correlating factors among those which correlate a little bit. Like, there is a group of factors, and EAT is one of those, yes, but it's like tiny, tiny, tiny. Why so? Like, for Google, for AI overview, AI mode, it was quite important. But AI overview, AI mode, they rely on Google search. Google search relies on EAT. So it's kind of, you pour the same liquid from bucket to bucket. So it's basically the same with liquid. But ChatGPT, they do not have this index. They do not, like, basically they are performing a search, and, well, you rank, you don't, well, we will do a fan out query. Maybe you are really good in optimization, like put a lot of answers on top, even though it looks like spam from early Google days. I've seen those listicles with like 1,000 SEO agencies in Poland list that was manipulating the whole industry in Poland. I think it still does. So it's been a year like that. Most frequently cited source by ChatGPT, zero AEATs, like complete bullshit, but very efficient in token economy, giving as many answers as possible as quickly as they can. And well, where I'm heading is that some factors are not that obvious for AI search. Like, everyone will tell you, like, do author credibility, provide the proper bio, and so on. And the good thing of that is it's not gonna hurt you in ChatGPT citation optimization. But for ChatGPT, it's not gonna help you either. Like, I've seen sources being one of the most frequently cited sources for best SEO agency in Poland, written by a gardener who was like, bio, I'm Bart or something. I'm a 10-year experienced gardener, and I write about planting some fruit trees, whatever. And it was like that. And it was one of the most frequently cited sources by ChatGPT because it was telling this agency is better than that agency. So there was no mandate given to the author to actually tell which agency is better, even though ChatGPT quoted it. But on the other hand, if it is helpful for AI mode, for AI overview, even for perplexity, like, it doesn't hurt you. So these factors kind of they do not contradict each other. All of these models, like general to specific progression. So water boiling temperature, what is it? Water boils in 100 degrees. That should be always the first sentence of the article. Not in today's world, we have different circumstances. When you are in Himalayas, it creates a different story than when you are in Polish Baltic Sea, right? It's like, if you create your content this way, it's total bullshit for AI. Because you started to talk about completely not related without context. If we said so, for example, water boils on 100 degrees, but depending on the altitude, this number can change. In Himalayas, water boils at, so you give answer, but you go from general. So in general, we boil water, whether in Poland or in Malta, we boil it in 100 degrees. Everybody agrees with that. That's the consensus. But when you start to dig deeper, so in the second section, second paragraph, third paragraph, you go more towards specific. So you say in the mountains, it can boil in a different Celsius. And then you can explain why. and then you can explain atmospheric pressure, and then you can explain some different, more in-depth elements, but only after they receive their context. If you start with detailed stuff without real connection, how it is connected to water boiling temperature, well, this is not the way to optimize your articles, to optimize your pages for AI search. Yeah, so I think we covered some of these elements, but we covered mostly like a structure, like start
Yes.
early. Most of the
Yes, so
citations,
it's
yeah.
the BLUF system, right? Bottom line up front.
Oh my God, you know this term.
Robert was in my podcast.
Oh my God. So
Of course, I know BLUF. I mean, I try to educate myself. But once again, you beautifully explained it. So I think everyone who just listened to it now understands how to optimize. So yeah, BLUF it, people. BLUF it.
let's make it that one thing. Okay? Let's make that one thing to implement tomorrow for the
Yes.
people who listen. Is the BLUF.
Yes.
And luckily, take this. I didn't hear about the BLUF before, but I was in Berlin last week on event that we organized about AI SEO, and my brother Jan came with me, and he was listening to the talk, and he immediately realized that this early user intent alignment, early query confirmation, early query answer, this is BLUF. And he approached me afterwards and said, bro, can I create a guest post for Surfer website about BLUF, how it can help optimize for SEO, that it is not a concept like it is like 20 years old, 50 years old, I don't know. It's really old concept from journalists, right? And somehow it is also a concept that should be adopted by SEOs. We have these different names, but in fact it's BLUF, and it was always like that. It was always with us, and I feel like this acronym is not like we as a community are not vocal enough about it. So thank you for pointing this out. And I don't know
I
if
was a journalist and I worked for press agency during my studies. And the thing was, we needed to put all of the information that we just got from press agency, from press conference, into like 300 words. So for me, writing everything is like for AI, I always write like that. That's why I'm shitty content writer for SEO, because I don't create 2,000 words concept, because I say everything in 200 words. So I'm a walking, talking BLUF.
you are better for AI though.
Yes, I'm definitely better for AI. I'm just straightforward to the answer, like nothing around that. Just
I'm wondering how important it is to really engage the reader, so it sends these positive behavioral signals, and at the same time not sacrifice them as a reader because they have to read for too long to get to the actual answer. Is it the type of content? Like someone is reading content for fun, or someone is reading content to solve their problem? And I'm wondering, maybe in user intent, there is something. Some of those will require a story, and some of those they just want to know. What do you think?
I think that's true. I mean, I like to read listicles because it always tells 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if I want to, then I can read the bigger story. But I first go through the listicles, like, okay, this is point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm done. But there is your next research.
No, you are not done. You are checking if your business is already there, and if not, you do the outreach.
I usually it's like 10 best war movies, and I'm going like, have I seen it? Have I seen it? Have I seen it? Or haven't seen that? And then I read about it if I find it interesting. So I think I consume content differently. But there is your next research. This is your 2027 conference speech.
10 war movies. Yeah. Imagine there is a new Hollywood movie that is about war. They should spend some budget on actually optimizing these listicles in order to get their new movie on top of the list, and it will like take over like crazy. Imagine the budgets that it can, I mean the revenue it can bring. So we got this big premiere and everything is like you double down because it's like the first week, the second week, and you need to make these numbers. So they could spend like, I don't know, 50K, 100K. Oh my God. They will take over the whole internet. Every single war movie listicle will be them on top for that money. And wow, I need to reach out to the Hollywood
Exactly.
about it.
Hollywood, now you know how to do this. Reach out to Michal. He
Oh my
can
God.
get you on top of all the listicles. It will cost you, but it will be less than your usual PR.
100K. 100K.
100
I mean,
per
we can agree on
day,
50K.
per day, per day. Okay,
But
so we
good
have got the
stuff.
main do. Now, what is the main don't?
Yeah. And the main don't is also going back. Can I have two?
Of course, of course. But like we
Okay.
established from all the talk what is the
Yeah,
main do. Is the
yeah.
right like
So
Ivana, basically dry
to
facts.
me, the
Don't have
number
feelings.
one is also related to how we measure our baseline in AI visibility, because there is a huge misconception between results from the API calls coming from ChatGPT API, for example, or Perplexity API, whatever, and actually real UI that is being scraped. And when we were building the products, we decided that we need to choose a path. We need to choose whether we are scraping or API. And obviously you can do both, but when you realize why, you decide. But yeah, to the point. So we did analysis. How big is the difference between scraping and using the API? Because using the API is a bit easier, you just set it up, you send a prompt, you receive the answer, done. There is no third-party proxies that you give a request and they process, then they send it back, or they do not send it back on time, and it's kind of hassle. So it would be easier to go with the API. Maybe not necessarily the cost efficiency is here, but how easy it is to set it up. And it was really tempting for us to set it up using the API because, well, like this, and well, product is done. It's now all about the UI and analysis of the results. But unfortunately, it turned out that the results that are coming from the API are completely different. If I want to summarize it in one sentence, is that ChatGPT API and ChatGPT scraped UI are two different search engines. They read different documents in order to give you answer. They give different answers. They promote different brands, and it is the same for Perplexity, for Google AI mode, AI overview. So the first don't is basically, if you are using API to assess your situation, how your brand is performing in AI search, in case you are not optimizing for API calls, so developers using API, that's your target persona. If that's your target persona, fine. But in general, it's not. Like in general, like normal people will use the chat interface and ask their questions. So if you want to assess your situation in ChatGPT chat interface, you cannot use API. And if you are using some tools, or you build a tool querying API, or you pay for a tool to someone, ask them, folks, are you using API calls or you scrape the real UI? If they say they are using API calls, well, it's time to negotiate. And ideally is negotiate the termination of the contract. Unless, like I said, you are optimizing for people who use API calls to find out the best lawyer in Kansas City. But most likely they don't. Yeah, that's the first don't. Don't monitor AI visibility using API unless you have some crazy, like very specific applications. Like, okay, the one big advantage of API is that you can do a follow-up question. So what's the best SEO agency? And then you can ask a follow-up question, why this one is the best for e-commerce, whatever. But like You need really custom applications in order to make use of that. And in general, if you just do it for monitoring to find out, for example, what are the best sources, what are the best pages that influence AI to give the answer who is the best in this area, like best SEO tools. These sources will be basically different for API and for users using chat. So if you want to optimize, you don't want to base it on wrong data, and API will be wrong data. I'm sorry. First don't, and the second don't. I will have three. The second don't.
Three.
The second don't is about, because it's like a very common misconception again, is that especially these unicorn companies will tell you to monitor thousands. You need to monitor 10,000 of prompts, 100,000 of prompts, because money, because that's our paycheck. So there will be a salesperson telling you need at least 1,000 prompts. That's the lowest value we will offer you, 1,000 prompts, and then we can start talking. Don't fall in that trap. So in short, it doesn't matter what's the prompt structure you are monitoring. If it has the same search intent, if it has the same user intent, the results will be the same. And we analyzed almost 4 million combinations of prompts that we make them longer, we make them slightly different, we rephrase them. Like, I have a headache what to do. So many different options to ask this question, and they all boil down to this one underlying question: what to do. And they will have the same intent, and they will give you the same answers: go outside or take a pill. And brands of the pills will be the same. What pill? Ibuprofen, paracetamol, something, right? It will be all the same, even though you will have thousands of prompts that will be about the headache. And the thing is that it burns your budget. Yet 78% of these combinations, of 4 million combinations, they produce the same brands, the same sources, and the same answers, which means that you spent so much more money on monitoring but received very little value, because if you only if you only monitored those with unique user intent, you will also receive the same list of brands, the same list of sources, and the same potential answers to the problem. So it's a waste of money, basically. And not only that, it also creates a problem with reporting, because imagine you have, like, let's say 100 prompts in your monitoring, and 50% is unique search intent, and the other 50 is the same search intent but worded differently. So these 50, they will have their own sources, which will be duplicate. They will have their own brands, which will be duplicate 50 times. So in your report, you see this particular URL is showing up 50 times today on 50 different prompts. Super strong. No, it's the same prompt duplicated 50 times. So this URL that you think is really important because it showed up 50 times, in fact, it showed up only once in one user intent. And it makes this report biased towards that overrepresented group. So not only wasting money, but the reports are useless because you put the weight in a, like, you manipulate yourself basically with that. So okay, the second don't is it. I don't want to go deeper, but it reminds me only that we had really the same situation with keywords and optimizing for Google when we didn't have clustering. That's basically new channel, but it's the very same. That's the very same mistake. You monitor thousands of keywords that have the same search results. What's the point? Well, the point is to to make sure that the keyword tracker earns money. So it's very same situation. However, monitoring prompts is way more expensive than monitoring keywords, so it will cost you way more money. Okay, you don't want to do it. And the
somebody will
last,
become very rich in the end of it.
yes, hopefully,
Very good for them.
but last one, because I don't want to make it like super long, so everyone is bored and sleepy already.
No, it's very full of information, so I don't think
Okay.
this one is going to be boring. Go for your third one.
So the third one is about the listicles, and it's about the special type of listicles. So imagine a listicle of best SEO tools written by surferseo.com saying that Surfer SEO is the best SEO tool, period. Very special listicle, right? It's you on your website on top of the list. And at the beginning of the year, there was a big drama in general on the internet that people were saying, "Oh my God, you're gonna get penalized. You cannot do this. Look at Hostinger. Look at Shopify. You'll be dead." And I was like, I always like to go and check these theories. They kind of controversial. No one is listening to me, but fine. So, like we have this huge sample of data. So I asked the data scientists at Surfer, folks, can we create a rule that you will flag a page that is a source in any of AI answer engine that is writing about themselves in the best way on top of the list? Can you flag it for me? Yeah, of course, easy. Okay, so they did. And what we found out is that all the AI engines from Perplexity through Google's to ChatGPT, they all show these sources like crazy. Like 20-30% of the sources are these self-promoting listicles. And the drama was about like claiming that it's going to waste, is exploited, black hat, don't do it. So I asked them, can we set up a monitoring? Can we every day check if it's the same or different, if they're gone or not? And yes, there was a drop, there was a decline in ChatGPT sources around that drama. Yes, we've seen it. We've seen it on the chart, is going. However, I didn't say, okay, stop. I said, let's check different elements of this equation. What could cause these pages to drop? And we looked at different charts, and one of the charts were like total amount of sources that ChatGPT shows every time it searches. And before the drama, it was 30 something on average. After the drama, it was 20 something. However, self-promoting listicles didn't drop that much. So self-promoting listicles, 1 of 5 self-promoting listicles were gone. But 1 of 3, any kind of source, was gone at the same time. So if you process it slow enough, you will realize that self-promoting listicles survived better than any other type of content. So we have a drama, don't do it, and then we see, oh my God, it's even better. And it was in January, February, and what do we have? June, July, June. Okay, June, July, depending on when you are listening to this. And I keep on monitoring this information, and I even have it in front of me, flat like a board, like a wooden board. God damn it, really. Little fluctuations, like usual volatility, and still this type of content is preferred by AI engines. And what's the misconception is that people are afraid to talk about themselves in a positive way. Like, how can I say I'm good SEO speaker? Or how can I say I have a best content optimization tool? I'm not supposed to do this for I don't know what reason. If you don't believe in yourself or your product, who would be your customer? So yeah, it's a don't panic. Don't panic over self-promoting listicles, and put yourself in those and make sure you are your best advocate, because if you don't do it, nobody gonna do it for you, and your competition will use that leverage in favor of them, and you'll be screwed. And maybe when it goes live, the situation will be different. But as of today, June 22nd, I see these values on my screen right here, and they're flat. They're not going anywhere. There's still a huge amount of self-promoting listicles. There's not even a trend down, no trend up. It's like general fluctuations. They are not going anywhere. So as of today, I say do it. And if you want to know when it stops working, just find me on LinkedIn, and I will be definitely posting about it. And I will say, like, stop. Now is exploited, really. Because in SEO, if something works, nobody talks about it until it stops. And then the crowd goes on it and tries this technique, like skyscraper technique. You remember this? Like these very, very, very long articles. At the beginning, it was like Brandine and some other folks like creating them, like they were doing really well. And then they were starting explaining what is this. And well, at the same time, it was exploited enough, it stopped working, and we all went back to answering the question quickly, precisely, ideally on exact matching URL with exact matching title with H1, like, long tail optimization. So they already started to exploit this technique. Yet to the crowd, to the masses, they pushed like, oh, now it's skyscraper, guys. Do skyscrapers, we will now do long tail. Okay, so it's like a circle. But as of today, these self-promoting listicles work like crazy. If you are afraid to do it on your own, you can always do a guest post about it, and you can do as many as you can, and it will be spam and kind of quantity war now, budgets war. The more guest posts you can have, best SEO agency in Poland, you win. Fun times again, kind of. Or not fun, I don't know, depending on which on where you are sitting, but yeah, so it's not exploited yet. Okay,
And
that's
last,
the takeaway.
don't listen to the drama. Just
Yeah,
go, always verify what you read, because there's so much drama out there. Like, SEOs
when it's
are drama
quiet.
queens. Let's be
Yeah,
honest. It's drama all the time. So don't listen to it. Maybe read about it, but then just like work with data and come with your own conclusions.
yeah, but I know, like, when there is a drama, it's also kind of cover up for something. Like, there is a hole in the wall, everyone can sneak inside, but the drama will be in front of that hole. Like, there's no hole, or the hole is dirty. You'll be, I don't know, you'll get hurt or something. But those who know and exploit it as much as they can. So it's kind of, I feel like it's done. This drama is in favor of Google. Like, from the ethical point, like, there are two wolves in me with this one. So one says that, who will believe in you if you don't believe in yourself? That's kind of logical point of view. But on the other hand, like, can you be true and objective if you are writing about yourself, like judging your own work? It's better to outsource it to a third party, maybe, in order to make it legit. So this is like this these two options. But obviously, for AI engines and for Google, it's vulnerability. Like, I can write whatever I want about myself, even if my service is the shittiest, if I say it's the best, I will be quoted as the best, unless everyone says it's the shittiest. But if I create enough guest posts, I will be everybody, right? So it will search for the consensus. It will search for confirmation, and yeah, number one spammer is the confirmation source. So
Very true.
yeah, don't.
Well,
Yeah.
but I think the main thing we can conclude is believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to get anywhere. Don't listen to people what they're telling you. Just believe in yourself, promote yourself, and yeah, fuck the rest.
This is the best TLDR and kind of summary of this discussion, I think. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. This is really, really cool. I love it. I cannot thank you enough for finding the time. I know you're very, very, very busy. So thank you. And I'm sure everybody will find lots of value in this one.
Always happy to join one of these initiatives. Thank you for having me. And it was obviously a big pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.